Have you ever just wished your AI could, talk to your other apps, your files, your databases, the internet, without needing a whole bunch of custom code for every little thing? What if there was some kind of universal language that let any AI model connect to any tool, just seamlessly? Well, that's exactly what the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short, is all about. So let's get into it. Okay, to really get what MCP does, let's start with a really simple analogy. So on the left here, just imagine a world where, to talk to anybody, you had to learn their language from scratch. So you'd have to learn German, then Chinese, then French. It's just exhausting, and it just doesn't scale, right? But now look at the right. What if you had a universal translator? Suddenly, you can talk to everyone, no problem, through one simple interface. That translator? Well, that's pretty much what MCP is for AI. So why did we even need this universal translator in the first place? Well, because honestly, before something like MCP came along, the world of AI integration was an absolute nightmare. People call it the spaghetti problem for a reason. So this really gets to the core question, right? Why is it so messy to connect an AI to external tools? I mean, why can't a model just use a calculator or search a database as easily as we can? It seems like it should be simple. Yeah, this tangled mess right here, this visualizes the problem perfectly. It's something called the M by N integration problem. So let's say you have M AI models and N tools you want them to use. To make them talk, you have to build M times N custom integrations. Think about it. 3 models and 3 tools, that's 9 separate, unique connections you have to build and maintain. It is quite literally a mess of digital spaghetti that just doesn't scale. And this is where the Model Context Protocol comes in. It's just such an elegant solution to this whole integration mess. Okay, this right here, this is the big aha moment. On the left, you've got that M by N chaos we were just looking at, all those tangled, messy connections. But look at the right. With MCP acting as a central hub, or a standard, each model and each tool only has to connect to that one protocol. Just once. It's one standard language for everyone. So the key here, it really comes down to the math. The old messy way was multiplication, M times N. The new clean way with MCP is just addition, M plus N. So in our little example, we go from 9 complex custom integrations down to just 6 simple standard ones. And that makes adding a new model or a new tool incredibly easy. The whole system is just built to scale from the ground up. All right, so let's put a pin in it with a formal definition. What is the Model Context Protocol? It's a standardized interface that lets AI models seamlessly interact with all sorts of external tools, resources, and environments. You can basically think of it as the official rulebook for how an AI talks to the rest of the world. And here is probably the best analogy to make this whole concept just instantly click. It's been said that MCP acts as a universal connector for AI systems, similar to how USB-C standardizes connections. And that's just perfect, isn't it? I mean, remember before USB-C, you had that junk drawer full of a dozen different chargers for all your gadgets? Now you have one standard that just works. MCP is doing the exact same thing, but for AI. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why of MCP. Now let's take a quick peek under the hood to see how it all actually works. And you know what? It's probably a lot simpler than you think. So at its core, the whole architecture is really built on just 3 main roles, or 3 main parts that all communicate using the standard protocol. It's pretty straightforward, really. Let's break those 3 roles down real quick. So step 1 is the host. That's the actual app you're using. Think of something like the Cursor IDE or the Claude desktop app. Step 2, inside that host, is the client. That's the little component that actually speaks the MCP language. And finally, step 3, the client communicates with the server. And the server is just the external program that's offering up all the cool capabilities, like access to your files or other tools. All right, now for the really, really exciting part. We've got the theory down. Let's see what actually happens when you put MCP into action. Because this is where AI starts to get some serious superpowers. So for our first example, let's look at building an AI financial analyst. And this isn't just one giant AI model. It's built using a whole collection of specialized AI agents. And when I say agents, I just mean these little focused programs that are each designed to do one specific thing really, really well. Kind of like a team of human experts. Okay, so just check out this workflow. A developer types a really simple request into the Cursor IDE. That's our MCP host, remember? The host then uses MCP to call a tool, and that tool kicks off a whole crew of these little agents. One agent's only job is to understand the request. Another one's job is to write the Python code to go get the stock data. And a third one executes that code and makes the chart. MCP is like the invisible conductor, making this whole symphony play in perfect harmony. All right, next example. Let's talk about an AI voice agent, one that can listen to you, think about what you said, and then actually talk back. This workflow is it's so powerful. So you speak, it gets transcribed into text, then the AI model uses MCP to look at all the tools it has available, and it makes an intelligent decision. It asks itself, for this question, should I search the web for the latest info, or is the answer already in my database? It then calls the right tool, gets the answer, and turns it back into speech for you. And all that complex decision-making is made so much easier because of the MCP framework. Okay, and for our final example, we've got something that honestly feels like it's straight out of science fiction. We're talking about shared memory for AI. Now this is a total game changer. MCP can connect completely different AI apps, like, say, Claude Desktop and the Cursor Code Editor, to the same memory server. Now, what does that mean? It means you can be having a conversation with Claude in one app, and then you can switch over to Cursor, and it can access that exact same context to help you with your code. It's like a seamless shared brain that works across all your different applications, and it's all powered by MCP. So let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. First, MCP is that universal standard we've been talking about, the USB-C for AI that solves the huge integration problem. Second, it takes that chaotic M times N mess of connections and simplifies it down to a super clean and scalable M plus N model. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it's unlocking these powerful, interconnected AI apps that were just way too hard to build before. It's lowering the barrier to entry for everyone. And that really brings us to the final thought. The protocol is here. The connections are now simple. The possibilities are just wide open. So the only question left is the one for you. If your AI can finally talk to everything, what are you going to build next?